and all worlds will join, where every man is equally under God. Prosperity for all and endless life with pure untainted blood will forever flow. The beginning of mankind and every step taken since are essential elements in this journey. Heaven will be created. This is the power of the living. This is the power of knowledge. In the future, man will be more than man. By God's will, man will find peace and tranquility, but with his approval. Eventually, we will all coexist forever, painless. Today is that journey.
How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Again, my name is Marcus Sykes, aka Black Jesus, the Antichrist, President of the United States. And yeah, everybody wants me to change up my style and become a good guy. So, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it, you know, because I gotta try, right? I gotta try. But the whole reasoning behind me doing this the way that I'm doing is just the fact that, okay, this is an art piece. Like this is my campaign. I am vlogging for the presidency, and this is my campaign. It is an art piece at the same time that it's a campaign. Now, that's the reason why I cannot lose. I can't lose. There's no way I can lose, because in reality, I don't even want to be the president. I mean, that's a lot of responsibility. I'm putting myself $50 trillion in debt, you know, doing this thing the way I'm going to do it. And who wants to deal with that? Nobody. I mean, like I say, everybody's a self-pleasing robot. So if I'm going to do what's in my pleasure, then I'm just going to let everything go to ruin and get what I want in the meantime. Right? Exactly. That's what we're all doing. We're all just getting what we want in the meantime and letting everything else and everybody else go to ruin. And that's just the way you do it. That's the way you live your life. And that's the reason why we are in the situation we're in now, because everybody is doing for self and people are being destroyed in the process. Now, what I'm doing is I'm offering a different way. I'm offering everybody a different way, a chance to do something different. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to take away your democracy. I'm not trying to destroy your democracy. I'm not trying to destroy the economy. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm trying to do the exact opposite. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help me. I'm trying to help us. I'm trying to help the United States. I'm trying to help our kids. Okay? That's all this is about. This is not about an ego trip. This is not about being high on drugs. This is not about like anything that you're properly thinking about. Because I mean, I'm listening to people when they're texting, and I'm listening to people like I'm listening to your comments, and it's like the only people who are commenting are the people who don't have nothing to say, which is funny. The people who are commenting are the people who don't have anything to say. I mean, you got people commenting saying, "Oh man, cocaine is a heck of a drug." Oh yeah, this guy is really on cocaine. This, that. Like, no, it's just trolls. Trolls are the only ones that's saying anything. And I mean, every now and then, you know, somebody will say, "Hey, you got my vote. You got my vote." The ones who have guts enough to say that, because it seems like you got to have guts to say that you'll vote for me. And I don't understand that, because it makes sense to vote for me. It only makes sense to vote for me because I'm talking about giving everybody that votes for me $1 million. So the question is, this $1 million vote, how is it going to happen? Right? Okay. Now, this $1 million vote situation, it's people still thinking like, okay, it's impossible. You can't do it. I mean, all I ever hear people saying is, you know, their doubts. Oh, you know, you can't do this. You're going to destroy the economy. You're going to do this. You're going to destroy this and that. No, I'm not going to destroy anything. I'm going to be building. I'm building up on the future. See, here's the thing. You got a bunch of people sitting in a bowl, right? Now, what's happening right now is a small portion of these people are sucking up all the resources, and they're controlling the rest and making them fight each other to just get a little piece of those same resources. That's what's going on. Now, what I'm trying to do is pretty much effectively take all the resources in the bowl and divide them equally amongst everybody, and then force everybody to work together with the resources that are in the bowl. That's it. That's the equation of what I'm doing. I'm making everybody masters in the process. So there's no few people in the bowl are the masters, and they got badges. They call themselves Republicans, Democrats, white supremacists, whatever, corporate CEOs, things of that nature. They got all these different titles, but they're pretty much the masters. And then you have everybody else who are slaves. They got names like citizens, people, whatever. Okay. Now, we can live differently. We don't have to live by the system that we're living under. And history dictates that we got to change the way we live as our technology and our understanding of ourselves and the environment grows. We have to change. So ultimately, we are going to change. There's only a question of how long is it going to take? How long is it going to take before we get this thing right? Now, we at a point in our development where anybody such as me, like a regular guy walking down the street in the United States, can understand and foresee what the ending result is. I mean, if we keep going in this direction, we'll correct ourselves. And eventually we'll get to this point where we are all equal and we are all free. But the problem is we're being taught to go against that. We're being taught to be against each other because this helps the ruling class continue to rule. It's a simple equation. It looks complicated, but it's really simple. I mean, we have the power in the United States. The United States is the only place where the people actually have power. I mean, it's being taken from us because we're being tricked into believing that anything else would be absurd, but it's not. We're at that point now where we can seize the moment. I mean, with the addition of the internet, social media, and all the things and technology like cars, televisions, phones, all this, we didn't have all this available to us at our disposal when this country first started. But after all this development, which all the development of the modern world came from this country. And the reason it came from this country is because of the idea of freedom and equality. Because, see, here's what happened when you give a person, any one person, freedom and equality. You empower that person to do what Walt Disney says, to make your dreams come true, to do anything. You have the power to do anything. Now, we teach our kids this, but then eventually, if they make it past the level of suicide, when they realize that they can't do anything, when they realize they're in a slave state and that they have to get in where they fit in or else become a bum on the street that nobody cares about. I mean, if you make it past that point, then you realize, okay, our system is messed up. We're doing each other bad. It looks good on the outside. It looks good, it looks good from afar. But when you really zoom in upon what humans are doing, it's self-degrading. It's self-destructive. And therefore, you got people shooting up crowds. You got people committing suicide. And we're talking slow forms of suicide like drug addiction and prostitution, all this type of stuff. This is all a reflection of the reality of our system being inhuman, dehumanizing, and destructive, human destructive. Okay. And we're upholding this system and we're feeding this system. And the only ones who are winning out this system are those few people in the bowl who designed this situation to work this way. Now, when the United States started, it was innovative because it decentralized power down from one man, the king, or the king and then the Pope. It decentralized it down from these two men to all rich white men, right? Okay, now this system freed up and gave us, because more than two heads are better than one, three heads are better than two. So thousands of heads is way better. One processor processing and making decisions, okay, that's not going to be efficient, because that one processor is only going to do what's in its own interest. So a king is only going to do what's in his own interest, individual interest. He's not going to do what's in the interest of his people. Okay, this has already been figured out. This is a scientific, philosophical conversation that's been had, and we understand it fully. Okay, there's no such thing as a leader really caring about everybody that he's leading. Okay, every person is equal because every person is effectively a self-pleasing robot. So every person is just doing what's in their best interest. So to put one person in control of everybody is dehumanizing. Right there, you have a problem. And the founders of this country realized that. They realized it. They understood things on a higher level the same way that we do now today. We understand that freedom and equality is the utmost way to create a perfect society. I mean, if this was going to be heaven, which is what we're creating the way I see it, we're creating heaven, and we're getting very close. Okay, if you're going to create heaven, then everybody's going to be equal. Everybody's going to be free, and everybody's going to be, doing whatever they can for themselves, and they're going to have the facility to do so. Okay, and this is and the founding fathers understood this. So they implanted this and embedded this into the foundation of this country. And because of it, it empowered every single person. And it took rights and liberties from a lot of the people, anybody who wasn't a rich white male, they didn't have the liberty to do anything except what was allowed by these rich white males. But now we've elevated ourselves to a level to where pretty much anybody with money can do whatever they want to do, right? But it's still predominantly run the same way in the beginning. We're still under that same system of white supremacy. Now, I understand a lot of white people don't consider themselves white supremacists. A lot of people don't. A lot of white people, rich white people, poor white people, they don't subscribe to white supremacy or anything of that nature, because they're smart enough to understand and know that there's no such thing as white people being better. We've established that. We know this, right? But the country is still functioning based on that principle, because we're not all equal and we're not all free. I mean, like, take, for example, a black guy who's young and poor. Okay, if he goes to a courtroom, he's not going to get the same rights as a rich white male. He's not going to be treated the same. He doesn't have the same rights. In fact, he has absolutely no rights, except for the ones that may be given to him by rich white men who are in control of that situation. And I mean, it sounds good, our system and everything, the way it's supposed to work out, but that's theoretical. It's always been theoretical. It's never been effectively real. We've never had freedom and equality for all in America. There's no justice for all in America. So therefore, you see all of this craziness and all this corruption. And the reason why is because the people are corrupted, because they're following a corruptive directive. And it's time for us to make a change. And the reason why it's time for us to make a change is because we have the facility to do so. I mean, that's what all this technology and everything that we've created is going toward. We created a near perfect society with the idea of freedom and equality. So out of that perfect society comes all of these inventions and tools to make our society better. I mean, light bulbs, speakers, computers, phones, cell phones, internet, social media, all that is coming from the land of the free and the liberated ones, which we all are. The only problem is we are all not liberated and free. So my theory is, if we can get ourselves to the point where we are actually giving everybody liberty and freedom and equality and justice, everyone, not a synthetic form, but an actual, for real life form of justice, liberty, and freedom and equality for all people, then we're talking about a super level of advancement. We're talking about speeding up our advancement 1,000 times fold. I mean, right now, it's just in our minds that we're free, but we're not. Now, once it's already in our minds. Now, once it's effectively for real and the reality that we're living, okay, our advancement is going to go 30 times. Because right now, only rich white men have the power to do anything. Now, that was a design from the engineers of the United States, who were all white supremacists. And they foretold that, okay, we're going to be having an advanced civilization, and that civilization is going to be inherited by white people, because that's the way that it should be. Now, this is what has happened. Over centuries, they slaved and controlled other groups and other people. And now this is the result. Okay, we got this broken system where a lot of people have been hurt, destroyed, and their future squandered, you know, just because of the idea that somebody was better than somebody else. I mean, that's the reality of what's going on in America. So that is our reality in a sense. I mean, if you look outside your door, you see anything that's worth anything, 9 times out of 10, the person holding the deed and everything to that property is some rich white male who is the recipient of white supremacy. That's just the way everything has been working in this country from the beginning. So now, me, a victim of our society, yes, I said that, a victim. I'm sorry, white people. If you don't believe it, it's true. I know you don't believe it because you've been the recipients of white supremacy. Okay, but I have never been the recipient of white supremacy. Anything I have, everything you see is a result of me and my own hard work. And not only that, I had to go against everything that this country stands for to get it. I had to work 10 times more just to get a sandwich, you know, like anything. Okay, I got friends and family who are white and they get everything handed to them. Everything. Okay, they will agree with you that they have way more opportunity than I have. And I know this to be true because I know them. I know a lot more white people, and you know, they are the recipients of white supremacy. I'm not saying that you're a white supremacist. I'm saying that we live in a pseudo form of white supremacy. We live in an era that is post white supremacist era. Okay, so we got a lot of work to do to clean up that situation. Now, we can do it. We're going to do it. It's going to happen. OK, as everybody thinks that life is getting worse and everything is messed up. If you talk to the average American, they will be like, yeah, life in the United States is messed up. But actually, it's better than it's ever been, especially for black people and minorities and women. It's better than it's ever been. And it's going to continue to get better. Me, I am just stepping out here to speed up the process. In fact, I'm going to speed it up to where we're going to completely make right everything that went wrong in like 2 years. Okay, I'm going to speed up our evolution. Instead of waiting 50 years, 60 years, 100 more years of arguing and bickering and time wasting and deaths and destruction and more chaos, I'm saying let's go ahead in the next 2 years, knock this out. If we work together in 2 years, we can correct everything from the past. I mean, it's not like we don't have to do it. I mean, we got to do it. It's our job to do it. Just like it was a job of the forefathers to get us started. They got us started. They did a good job, but they didn't do a good enough job. So it's our turn. Now we have to make decisions for the future. They're dead and gone. They made mistakes. Okay, there's no doubt about it. We all know that they made a big mistake, right? Okay, now we have a chance to set it right. We have the Constitution right here, waiting on us. It's waiting. Okay, we've never offered everybody the rights fully of what the Constitution guarantees. Corporations and companies in the United States are taking everybody's rights, and we don't even have to allow it to happen anymore. Not we the people. We the people have all the power in the United States. We are the power in the United States. So together we can change everything. So therefore, I am putting forth a plan that is going to effectively bring us together. A plan that brings us together because we all become equal. We're all equal in this plan. Okay? Like right now, we're not all equal. Okay? If you go to a courtroom and you get sued for something, if you go to a courtroom, by law, a rich white male with a job is more valuable than an infant of any color. Like literally, that if two people died, one of them was a rich white man with a family and the other one was an infant, you would get more money for the white male with the family than the infant, because there's actually legally a value on every person's life, and it's set differently. So some people are more valuable than others. Now, this president is what's destroying us. Now, you probably can't see it up front, especially if you're the rich white male. You're not going to see that. You're not going to concentrate on it. You're not going to care about it, and you're going to try to protect it. See what I'm saying? Okay. If you're the less valuable people, then you're going to be feeling it. You're going to know that you're less valuable. You're going to see your value being destroyed and exploited, just as it's always been in this country. So how are we going to set it right? How are we going to set it right? Well, first, we got to make everybody equal. That's the first thing. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to make everybody equal? I mean, really, everybody's a self-pleasing robot. So we're equal in reality. There's nobody that's better than that. Okay? There's no animal, plant, or anything on the planet that's living that is better than that, because everything is a self-pleasing robot, because the point of life is to preserve yourself as far as possible, right? Okay, so there's nothing better than that. So naturally we're equal. By nature we're equal. So how do we make ourselves equal in society? Well, some of us have money, some of us don't have money. So that means that some of us have power and some of us don't have power. Some of us can do things and some of us can't do anything. So now we need to switch that up. We need to switch it to where every single person is powerful. So how do you do that? Well, we've kind of already done it. The vote.
Motion detected at the garage.
Jesus, cats. It's cats outside and maybe tripping the wires. But anyway, the vote is what is the real power in the United States. It's not about the money. It's about the vote. You know what I mean? I mean, that's the reason they let the slaves free. It wasn't because the Republicans had some ethical a eureka about helping black people. It was about representation. The 3/5 of a human being that was in the Constitution, kind of still is, that was about controlling representation. It was all about representation, because the vote is the power in the United States. We have an imbalance of power in the United States. We have some people who are representing others, and they have like 300,000-400,000 votes in their pocket. Then you got other people who pretty much don't have a vote. Their votes being taken from them. And then even if they did vote, it wouldn't matter. Okay, now this is a really messed up imbalance. Okay, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It can't be like this if we're going to equalize everybody and get to this supercomputer level of processing. We can't do this. We can't belittle half of the computer and uphold the other half. I mean, this is not going to work. This is just going to slow progress. This is going to be self-destruction. So how do we do that? Well, we take away representative government, and then we make everybody one vote. We give everybody one vote and make every vote important. So how do you do that? Well, Facebook government is a system that does that. Okay, think about Facebook. I call it Facebook government, but that's just a tagline to get you to understand what I'm saying. I'm saying a system similar to Facebook, but on the level of the government. I'm talking about everything and everybody in the government, and all the people, all the citizens, all connected and all working together and transparent to the point where we can see and understand everything that's going on. Like right now, think about it. Do you know who your representatives is in your district, in your city? A lot of people don't even know who their mayor is. A lot of people don't know who the governor is of their state. A lot of people don't know who their representatives are. A lot of people don't know who's in the Senate. Most people don't know anything about their government. And therefore, a lot of people don't vote. A lot of people don't even get involved with politics. And so therefore, they're being controlled. And they don't even understand what is going on or how things are changing around them. And they allow this to happen because they are rebelling against the government. They're rebelling against the government because it doesn't make any sense to them. They're rebelling against the government because It's not even, it doesn't even want their participation. It's not asking for their participation. It's asking them to shut up and get away and go away and just take it like a man. That's what our government is doing. And the people on the top who understand everything, they're arguing over the resources because that's what is going on. The government is governing our resources. Now, what is the government? What is the government? The government is an organization that is populated by people who are self-pleasing robots. And the government has control over all the people, including those people. Now, the people in the government that are manipulating are doing this for their own personal gain. Now, this is the law of nature. This is the law of every man. So all of your representatives are not doing what's in your best interest. They're doing what's in their best interest until they need to look out for your best interest. So that's a check right there. And that's a problem because now our system is not running efficiently. So what we need is a system where we don't have representative government. We need a system where everybody can represent themselves. And not until now were we able to actually have a system like that. It's called Facebook government. I mean, look at Facebook. That's a system where everybody represents themselves. We don't need anybody to tell people our opinions. We need something like this that is interacting with the government. So now we can understand who we are and what we want to do and how we are. If you look around in your city, you don't know what's going on. You know a little bit of something, but you don't know anything. Everybody's secular. Everybody just knows a little bit of something. But you know how to make pizzas. So all you do is focus on making pizzas every day. You know the potholes on the way to the houses and everything. But you don't know anything about how your city works. You don't know anything about what the problems in your city is. You don't know anything about what's going on in your city. You don't know anything about what's going on in your state unless it's dealing with you personally. With this system, the government Facebook system, okay, you will be forced to participate and you will be forced to educate yourself because they're going to need you. The way the system would work is every person has one vote. Not only that, every person is a government control because every vote is literally a government control. Picture a supercomputer, right? We're trying to find an answer to a problem. So we're trying to find an answer to homelessness. So we put that into the supercomputer. How do we fix homelessness? Everybody can come up with an idea and think about that. Nobody's really going to think about it and nobody's really going to care unless you incentivize them to. Just like you are running around town and you learned everything about delivering pizzas, but you were incentivized to do that because it helps you make money. Now we got a problem over here, homelessness. So how do we get you to work on this problem? How do we get you to figure this problem out? We put a dollar sign on it. Everybody in the United States who's dressing nice, talking good, and giving you a piece of paper and saying, sign this and this and that, they're a thief 9 times out of 10. Because capitalism has turned us into thieves because it does not work properly amongst men and civilization. Capitalism is based on animals and plants and nature in the jungle, living off nature. Okay? That's the way we got here through survival of the fittest. Okay? Capitalism is based on primitive mindset. That capitalism is primitive. Communism is a bit of an upgrade, but it's still, every example of communism has been primitive. So communism itself is also primitive. Okay? The system that I'm talking about creating is something that's doesn't even have a name. Okay? We don't have a name for this. There is no name. This is not communism. It's not socialism. It's not capitalism. The system that I'm talking about is bigger than all of them because it includes all of them, because our system right now includes all of it. So we're creating, I'm going to call it the hive mind, okay? Because that's what we're creating. We're creating a think tank, which is going to effectively obliterate all of our problems. I mean, that is the bottom line to everything that I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating a hive mind, which is us. And once you put us all, if you give any person the power, like take me, for example, you give me the power of the United States. I am the most powerful man in the United States, right? Make me the president. And then I shut the government down. I'm a dictator now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I mean, one thing I'm not going to do is take all the money and give it to this group of people that I'm working with, because I'm not working with a group of people. I'm not finna do anything that you would think, because I'm not a typical leader. A typical leader is usually a recipient of white supremacy, and therefore was taught how to live through white supremacy and is operating on a mindset of white supremacy, which is these people are better and these people are not as good. So you serve the people who are pretty much on this level in life, and the ones that's on the bottom, they're going to have to figure it out for themselves. Now, if you're a Republican, you understand that, because that's the routine. That is how they think in the Republican Party. The Republican Party is more based on the freedom to do whatever you want and to do what's right for yourself. Okay, the Democrats, they're like, well, this is unethical. We need to do things right so that everybody can have a chance. Okay, now, if you sit back and you look at the situation that we're living in, it's freedom and equality fighting against each other. But we need freedom and we do need equality. We need we are Republicans and we are Democrats. Okay, now what we need to do is put these two together, come up with this new thing, and then we can make something happen for ourselves. And I mean, the whole idea of this whole Facebook government thing is really simple. I mean, it's very complicated if you think about it, but it's actually really simple. It's just about putting us in a situation where we can make a decision for ourselves on how to live together. It's so we can fix our problems, because we have problems. When we first started this country, it was about installing and having a better way of life. And it was about giving freedom and equality to all men. And that is what kicked us off. That is what makes us today a superpower. That is the reason why we are still to this day the ruling power of the world. And we're always probably going to be, because all these other countries are just an example of us. And the thing about it is we're not perfect. We're the best country you're going to find on this planet, but we're nowhere near perfect because we haven't actually achieved freedom and equality for everyone. Once we've actually gotten there, then we will be a supercomputer, and then our problems will all be solved like that. And see, a lot of people, when I started running for president, they started asking me, what are you going to do about this problem? What are you going to do about that problem? What are you going to do about that problem? And my only answer is, I'm not going to do anything about all these different problems. It's not my job as the leader to do everything about all these problems. Not the leader that is my design, because that's just me lying to you to get you to get your vote. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you to get your vote. I'm telling you the truth, which is probably another good reason why I won't win, because being honest and truthful is not something that people really dig in this way of life. People like to be lied to more than anything. They like the fantasies. When you're telling somebody something real and you're being honest and you're being straight up with them, usually they don't know how to deal with that. They don't understand it because it's never been that way. In this next wave, that's the way it's going to be. If you've got a computer and you're trying to figure out the answer to a problem, the computer chip is steady spitting out things that are lies. This part of the equation is this, and that, and it's doing it purposely for its own gain. Then this computer is never going to work right. That computer is useless. The whole infrastructure of this computer will never be able to solve a problem. This is the problem that we have right now. This is the reason why, with all this technology and with everything that we got going, we can't solve anything. We just put Band-Aids on everything up until we get to the next election. We put more Band-Aids on to the next election. They fall off by the time we get to the next election, and we put some more Band-Aids on. All we're doing is hitting this little relay switch and said, okay, we're going to give y'all some money, then we're going to give y'all some money. The reality is it's a broken system. This computer is not working. Okay, it's just not working. Okay, for a lot of people this is great, but for a lot of people this is horrible. And if it's great for you, you don't see any changes that it needs to be made. If it's horrible for you, then you want some changes to be made now, and you think that it's never going to change. So you're subscribing to the Illuminati and conspiracy theories and things of that nature because you don't see it ever changing. And so now we're fighting against each other. Now we're lying to each other. Now we're backstabbing and using and abusing each other because it's every man for himself and get what you can before this place blows up. That's the reality. I just told you the truth. But you're probably not willing to believe that. Especially if you're driving around Lamborghinis right now. You don't even care. You don't want to see it. You've had your fun. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. We got to get ourselves into gear. Now, the question is, how is this change going to happen? Okay, I'm going to go in the White House. I'm going to cite all the injustices dealt to the people by the United States government. Our government is not run efficiently. Our government is not adequate anymore. So I am going to arrest it, and then we're going to redesign it. Now, in this redesign, it's going to be a new, upgraded, modern digital design that's fit for the hive mind, right? So it's going to take us 2 years. We're going to take all of our resources in the United States, and the United States is the most resourceful country in the world. If anybody can create an awesome, badass government system, digital system that's secure and everything, it's us. We're going to have to do it. Nobody else will even think of doing it because everybody else's country is 10 times more corrupt than ours. So it has to be done here. Then, once it's done here, others can take example. Now, we're going to make this system. We're going to create this system, right? It's going to take us about 2 years. Then we're going to get everybody up on the system. We're going to create a new digital currency. Then we're going to salvage our old currency. We're going to salvage our old way of life, which is the US dollar. We're going to salvage the Treasury Department. We're not going to print any more money, which is ridiculous. We're spending billions of dollars just to print billions of dollars. So we're getting rid of that. And then we're going to reiterate this new system where it's 20% on whatever you do, on all traffic, on all monetary traffic, it's going to be done by 20%. And this is the reason why we need a digital currency, because the digital currency is going to make it way more efficient for us to do this, because this is how it's going to work. The Federal Bank of the United States right now is effectively going to become the people. All the federal notes in the United States are going to be held by the people. So there won't be a central bank somewhere sitting there with all the money. A couple of guys in there signing papers saying which way it goes, and they're using it to extort for themselves, which is what self-pleasing robots do, right? We're not going to have a system like that. We're going to have a system where all the money is broken up into 350 million little pieces, and everybody's going to have their piece, which is based on how much their 20% is. So if you're getting paid $20,000 a month, 20% of that is coming out, and you're paying 20% on everything that you buy. So effectively, that is your piece of the pie. And you are controlling that piece of the pie and funding things based on like homelessness in your city or whatever at the way you want. Now, every person is a government control. So every person is one vote. Also, every person has the power of purse. So the money that you're taking out, 20% from your paycheck, let's say you get paid $2,000. You're going to get your complete and total check. You'll get your whole check. Now, when you go out and buy and do things, the money is being taken out by everything that you're doing. And everything that you're doing is getting taxed 20%. So effectively, without the money coming out of your check, you already know that you're going to get taxed $400 out of that $2,000. As you spend your money and that tax comes out, it goes into your purse, which is associated with your Facebook government account. Now, that purse can only be spent on government functions. So the military budget or city projects, whatever, state projects, federal projects, and anything that you vote, that you want to be a part of and that you want to fund, boom, here's your money to do it. Okay, that's your 20%. That is the government money that you are holding, but you are in control of that portion of the government money. You are controlling which way that money goes. So if you're not for abortions, this money will not go on to abortions. If you are for abortions, then you can fund abortions. All I need is 50 million votes to win the popular vote. There's no way the Democrats and the Republicans are ever going to vote for me. I need 50 million votes from the people in the middle. If I get those 50 million, there's no way they could get more because they're in a battle, a never-ending battle. I get 50 million votes, then I'm going to make digital money $50 trillion. And that is going to be put into the accounts of the people who voted. Now, if you owe any kind of government debt, like for example, student loan debt is what most people owe. The average person owes about $60,000. So if that $60,000 will be taken out, and then $940,000 will be available for you. Now that money is going to be untaxed. You can spend that money without a 20% tax. Okay, so you can go buy a house, and it's going to make more sense to buy that house flat out with cash digital money. You're going to buy that house flat out cash, right? So you buy this house for $300,000. Now, that $300,000 is going to go into the bank. And once that $300,000 is in the bank, then anyone can go and exchange and convert US dollars over to this digital currency at the bank. They can get it converted over at the bank. This rich guy comes over, he says, hey, I want to convert my money over. Of course, because this US dollars are being taxed 20% everywhere that they go. So he's going to convert it over and get this digital cash to use that to spend, right? Okay, now once this is a digital currency, so it can be manipulated. And what is going to happen with this digital currency is first time that it's being spent, there is no tax. Then it's going to mature after it's spent the first time. The second time it's going to be taxed 10%. So that's still a huge incentive for people to buy these digital currencies with the US dollar. Every time US dollars are converted to these digitals, the US dollars are destroyed, burned. The third time this money is spent is fully matured. Now this money is being taxed 20%, just like the other money. This money is just like USD, but it's totally replaced USD. You don't have USD being reprinted because the treasury has been shut down. They're no longer printing USD. Eventually, over time, the USD will be converted over to this digital currency, and the value of the USD will be inputted into the digital currency. And this system is going to be happening pretty fast. I mean, because everybody's trying to make money, and everybody's trying to evade this 20% as much as possible. So this money is going to exchange and move at a high rate of speed, and everything is going to be converted over. $50 trillion of wealth is going to be implanted into our system. And then there will be no more printing money, and we're going to have an organization of our money. Let's say my campaign picks up, right? If everybody picks up on this and this movement begins, now we're going to print up $70 trillion for America 2.0. And that's going to be the limit, 70 trillion. Or maybe we get 80 million people voting for me. Or maybe 125 million, which is how many people voted for Trump and Hillary in the last election. Maybe all 125 million people vote for me, right? Well, let's just say 200 million people vote for me. A ridiculous number. I think that's every single adult over the age of 18 in the United States. Then we're going to print up 200 trillion digital dollars. And it's going to be happen all the same way. The more the merrier, as you can see. Now, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's going to destroy our economy. It's going to destroy things like that. It's like, no. The point of this is to switch over our whole system and how it works. See, once the system is in place and once the money is operating, once everybody's up and on it, okay, now it's a situation where we're all are a part of the government, the money, and everything is all incorporated within itself. So there's no way for it to fall. We're not going to be able to print more money. It's going to be a set amount of money. So the price of things are going to go down because there's no way it's going to be able to go up. Right? Like, how are you going to go up when you're not able to print more money? We've got a finite amount of money, you know? So this economy is going to be based on everybody spending money instead of holding money. It's going to be spending. Everybody's spending. And on top of this plan, right, I'm planning on having Andrew Yang as the vice president. I know he wants to be the president so bad. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I'm voting for Andrew Yang because I like his plan more than anybody else's that's voting. I'm not going to vote for anybody else but Andrew Yang. But I want Andrew Yang to be if I win presidency, I want Andrew Yang to be my vice president because I want him because I am going to enforce his dividend. That dividend is going to be a part of this new system. The dividend, I'm hoping I will be able to work it out to where everybody can get $2,000. So that way, that 20%, when it comes out, you'll have $1,600. And therefore, we can take care of homelessness and everything 10 times easier. We can take care of everything 10 times easier with the dividend. So I'm definitely trying to get that dividend put in there. And I mean, with the $1 million payment, okay, this new system, okay, we're gonna totally get rid of. I'm gonna obliterate the insurance industry, the taxes, the IRS, and the insurance industry and the taxes. Okay, that's gonna all get obliterated because we're not going to even need it in this new system. It's complicating things too much, and it's taking money and just making other people rich for no reason. Okay, you're in this new system. You buy a car, you just need to get it registered. This is how it's going to work. You buy a car, you say, okay, I got me a new car, took out a loan, or you paid cash, whatever you did, but you got you a new car, right? So now you need to go get that car registered. You need to register that car. You paid for the car, you paid your 20% on it. That's your taxes. Boom, you're done. The taxes is coming out first, right? It's coming out your down payment or whatever. It's coming out first right away. And then you deal with your loan and everything afterwards. However, but you paid for your car, right? You paid for your car. Okay, now all you have to do is register it. Now, in order to get your car registered, it has to be up to standard. It has to be up to a high standard before the American people are going to insure you. It has to be up to a high standard. And the American people have created the standard. They have all voted together on what that standard is supposed to be. So if in California you have to have an electric engine and all this and that going on, no emissions, then in order to get registered here, you have to have that. You can drive a car with emissions and all that, but you're not going to be up to standard. You're not insured, nothing like that. Okay, but the people in this area say, oh yeah, we want it up to this level. Okay, boom. Then you're insured up to this point. You're insured. You're fully insured as long as you meet the criteria. Once you meet that criteria and then you register the car, we know it's yours. It's all registered to you. You're insured. Now, let's say you get into a fender bender. Okay, you're taken care of automatically, but you're going to have to pay the deductible. To get that car fixed, you got to pay the deductible first. The deductible is 20%. So if it's $1,000 to get that car fixed, you're going to have to pay $200. If it's $10,000 to get it fixed, okay, you're going to have to pay $2,000. And then the rest is absorbed by the people. Okay? Now, in health insurance, on the situation of health insurance, so you go to the hospital and you need to check up or whatever, you got a cold or something like that, okay, it's the same situation. You could do, you're covered, but you have to pay the deductible, which is 20% of whatever the bill is. So the average doctor visit is probably like $200. Okay, so that means you have to pay $20. It's $200. You have to pay $20 on that situation, right? But let's just say, okay, you need an operation. It's going to cost $200,000. Well, let's just say $100,000. Okay, so that means you need to pay $20,000 deductible. Now, if you don't have that $20,000, then you have the option of going to the people. The people can easily swallow a $20,000 bill like that. It's kind of like a GoFundMe setup. You say, hey, I got health issues and I need to get this operation and therefore I need $20,000. Okay, now in order to do this, to get the help of the people, you're going to have to reveal your private information, which is whatever you're sick, all the information about you, who the doctor is you're dealing with, all this information, you're going to have to relinquish that information before these people was going to offer you help. And the reason why is because we're not going to allow any fraud, any theft out of the system. So everything has to be validated. That means you have to make it public, whatever the situation is that you're asking for money for. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get it. If everything is right, there's like a 100% chance, just about 98, 99% chance you're going to get the money that you need, because there's an abundance of money, because everybody has control of the government resources. And every day the government is pulling in billions and billions and billions of dollars off of taxes. Every second we're pulling in $50 million a second. The United States government is pulling in. You can see it coming in. But the money is being held by all the citizens who are actually doing all the spending and all the working and all the moving the money around. These people who are paying this and that, they're the ones who are getting the money. So you will have to appeal to them and their little group things that they're doing and stuff like that. So you say, okay, I need $20,000. Then you get on Facebook government, and then it's just like Facebook, and you say, hey, I need some help. I got some health problems and this and that. I need to pay this $20,000. And then eventually you will find the people you need to talk to. And then you submit your information and you submit all that information. Then they confirm that this is not fraud. Then boom, you're paid for. You got the actual help that you actually needed. And now And then it was the people who came and helped you. You know, you didn't need no insurance company. You needed the people. You had to reach out to them. You had to help yourself. You know, you had to do what they asked you to. You have to do what you need to do to help yourself. So you did it and you got help. Okay, now that's how it's going to work. If you can afford to do things yourself, then you don't have to relinquish your information. But if you want, you know, to change things about yourself, things of that nature, you know, okay, you're going to have to get some help from the people. You're going to have to get approval on certain things, okay? Because they're going to have to fund it. So that's the way it's going to go. I mean, like if you're a homosexual, a tranny, okay, there's a lot of other trannies out there, and they will probably contribute to helping you get you a tranny setup to become a tranny, you know, if that's what you want. People who don't support becoming a tranny, they don't have to put any money into you becoming a tranny. So as you can see, it all works out. It's the people who want to help each other are helping each other. The people that don't want to support things that they don't believe in are not having to support things that they don't believe in. You see, this kind of system makes everyone free. It gives us all freedom and it connects us at the same time. It makes us a supercomputer. It makes everything possible. Somebody like me is just as valuable now as somebody like the other guys that's running for president. It's not like people don't look at me now just because of my skin color and because of my hair and and the texture of my hair and things like. People aren't judging me on these superficial things like this. People are actually listening to what I'm saying. People are looking at the mathematics, and you can't shut me out because I'm a citizen and I have a right to the system. So therefore, you know, nobody has power over me to stop me. You only have the power to help me or not help me, you know, and that's it. And if you're not going to help me, then maybe someone else will. But still, it's not going to be about how I look or how I sound, because right now, I don't have faith in America, because America has a thing about black people that look like me. They think I'm a drug addict. They think I'm on drugs. They think I'm crazy. They think I'm insane. Okay? This is what America's always said about me. As a creative mind, I came from a non-racist upbringing. Non-racist. My mom, she never said anything about white people being like this and that. We didn't have to look out for cops or nothing like that. I mean, it was like racism didn't exist for hundreds of years, the way it seemed to me as a kid, coming up in school. And then coming from the backwoods, and then going into art school, where I'm taught to think outside of the box and look at everybody as one, and then see things from a bird's eye view, because that's what an artist has to do. It has to make sense of everything, of the big picture. That's how I'm trained. I got trained on this for over 6 years, and then I was trained on watching people and understanding people, because I went into performing arts. So it's like my understanding and the way I'm looking at the world, this is so easy for me to sit here and talk to you and to explain to you this, because of my upbringing and because of the kind of person that I have become. And a lot of people look at me and be like, you're the worst guy for president in the world. But they don't understand. Like, actually, I'm perfect. And if you listen to me for at least 5 minutes, you'll begin to understand that. The truth is, I just want to set things right. I just want to help us as a people. This is an opportunity for me to do it right now. That's all this is about. It's not about me feeding my ego. You know, I play this crazy character and I talk all this creative stuff. And that's just me, you know, trying things. That's what us artists do. We try things, we rehearse, we try something else, then we think about it, and then we try another thing, and we think about it, and then we try something else. It's all about experimentation. As an artist, you don't know what the final result is going to look like. All you know that is that it has to be unique and it has to be different. And so therefore, that's why I'm coming to you as a different kind of leader. I'm coming as a unique, different kind of leader. I'm a creative leader. That's something that I'm creating. Okay, there's never been a creative leader. There's always been lawyers, business, and politicians. You've never had a straight up artist leader. Okay, so I'm creating that. I'm being, my setting is a creative, I got a creative backdrop and everything. You know, here are all my paintings and stuff, you know what I'm saying? This is my studio. And this is about creativity, but it's based on me trying to open your mind up to a new idea or to a new way of life. Okay, I'm vlogging for the presidency. That's a new thing